This here drow is a character build from a viewer, not one of my own. The introduction's a little bit different, and in fact I'll give you the lore behind the character before going over all of the choices we have to make the character. So this is Tavpole, hopefully, obviously a play on words of tadpole, and that this drow stumbled upon a wounded mind flayer in the Underdark because the mind flayers are known to inhabit the Underdark, so this makes sense. And during the intense fight, the illithid fried Tavpole's brain real hard, which is why we're going to end up with an intelligence of 7, we'll get to that later. He ended up victorious, or at least it seemed that way, until the nightmares came, the visions of far realms and a promise of power, as well as an end to the nightmares, in return for the infiltration of the absolute cult, that happened to deal with some mind flayers offshoots. So that's the idea behind this drow, this warlock. Let's go through all of these tabs. So the origin is entertainer. This is mostly to pick up the acrobat proficiency, so we're shoved a bit less. Race is Seldarine Drow, which gives us dexterity and charisma, which is nice. And a lovely proficiency in some weapons, rapier, short sword, hand, crossbow, and gives us superior dark vision, so we can see up to 80 feet in the dark. We've got head 2, skin colour is ice tone 10, eye colour is demonic yellow 1, bald, hair colour is white 1. Why do we need hair colour? Well, it's for the eyebrows here. No highlights or greying, and then tattoo 9 with intensity of 100, with red colour, which is why we've got this red coming down from this character's eyes. Makeup is cinnamon colour with makeup 10, which helps kind of reinforce that around the eyes. The class is Warlock, the Great Old One. Now, if you didn't know, I haven't made a video about this, but if you didn't know, the Great Old One now has some benefit to the subclass at level 1. It's not like you have in Tabletop, that would be, I think, a bit too difficult, but they've made a new feature called Mortal Reminder. When you land a critical hit against a creature, that creature and any nearby enemies are frightened until the end of the next turn. And there doesn't seem to be a saving throw, it's just frightened, which is lovely because it debuffs the enemies very, very well. Now, as a Warlock, we get to pick a couple of cantrips. I was told to go for Eldritch Blast and Friends, classics. Can't say anything bad about that whatsoever. For the spells, we have Hex and Arms of Hadar, although I have been told Hex will be changed later, but it's good for the earlier levels. Arms of Hadar, right now, doesn't really... I've never been a massive fan of Arms of Hadar because of the need to get in close, but we'll see. We'll see how it works. And if it hits and the enemies fail a strength saving throw, then they can't take reactions. As for skills, we've got Acrobatics, Perception and Performance already, granted by our background or race. And then Arcana, well, because we're going to actually eventually have a really bad intelligence, you kind of want Arcana because some unique Warlock dialogues are based on Arcana. So we don't want to be giving ourselves too much of a disadvantage there. And then I was told to pick either Deception or Intimidation, depending on the background choice. Well, I'm going for Intimidation because the Great Old One, let's go back to class. Warlocks bound to eldritch beings in the far realms work towards inscrutable goals, gaining strange powers over entropy and the mind, which I think also makes Friends fit if you're getting power over the mind. Then the ability points, we've got Strength at 10, Dexterity 10, Constitution 15, Intelligence 8, Wisdom 10, Charisma 15. Some of you keen-eyed people out there might think, well, why don't we just do this and have Charisma at 16 to begin with? We could do that, but then we wouldn't have a Strength of 10. I quite like this because we're not really going to be using intelligence that much, so it doesn't matter that when we use Volo's Eye that we lose 1 intelligence, and we essentially gain 2 ability points. If we don't have 16 and we have 15, I guess these could have been put somewhere else, like Wisdom for better like skill checks and things, but I am happy to put Strength at 10 because then we can carry a bit more and jump that a little bit further. And so there we have it, that's how this character starts. I'll be showing you what happens at each level and some items to pick up and how to play this character next. So you've made it to level 2 and we get to make a choice of 2 invocations. We're going to take Agonizing Blast and Repelling Blast. What's not to like about that? They really beef up your Eldritch Blast. It makes it very, very good. And for spells, we're taking Hellish Rebuke, and this is so that later on we can use a Circlet of Fire with this build to get an extra bonus action, which means extra attacks. And you got to level 3. We get Pact to the Chain, we have no choice about that. And for spells, you're going to take Hold Person, which is a staple of the build, because we're going to be looking to get those critical hits, which is what Hold Person will help us do. And we're going to get this, replace X with Shatter. We also get Fairy Fire down here, which is nice. Because we mostly want to be making attacks, so with our bonus action, it's probably better for us to make an attack than use Hex, because we're trying to get those critical hits, and the more attacks we have, the more critical hits we'll make. And there are just times, it is said, where you just want to use Shatter. There's nothing better to do than use Shatter, because you've got loads of people in one area. Finally, you're level 4. And in the information sent to me, actually, although I didn't ask for this and it's a bit late by the time I'm recording, they didn't mention a cantrip. I would say maybe Blade Ward if you cast it ahead of a battle, maybe Minor Illusion, and that maybe Chill Touch perhaps if you wanted another attacking cantrip. I'm just going to go with Blade Ward. I doubt I'm going to use it. The spell we're going to take is Misty Step, though it's going to get replaced later. We're going to take the mobile feat because, as you'll see, we do kind of want some extra mobility, and mobile does exactly that. Also helps us get away from enemies. If we attack them, we'll be able to fly away, which is what we're going to end up doing. And finally, we are level 5, which means we get more hit points, we get an extra class feature Warlock, we get an extra invocation, and we are going to go with, what's it called, Fiendish Vigor. Because our subclass isn't like the Fiend, we don't get any extra temporary hit points, so this actually gives us free 7 temporary hit points after, or outside of combat anytime we want, even inside combat I think, but it takes an action to cast. What spells are we told to take? So, first of all, Vampiric Touch. And there's several reasons for this. It procs the mobile foe on the enemy when you try to attack with it. It can attack and can crit, which is what we're kind of aiming for, to enable Mortal Reminder. And it heals and does damage all in one go. And we're going to be having ways to have a decent chance at passing our Constitution saving throws for concentration. And replacement spell, well, we don't want Misty Step, we want Fly. And we also get Darkness because we are a Drow. Now, the reason we want Fly is because we get to fly quite far because we've got extra movement speed, at least for mobile. And you can use your offhand attack to apply mobile to an enemy, cast Fly on yourself, and, well, fly away, going somewhere safe so the enemies can't get to you. We will be having, eventually, 16 Constitution, and we will be having the Spider Silk Armor. I'll show you that later. And because we've got mobile and a couple of other items that increase our movement speed, we can basically attack, maybe get Mortal Reminder, and fly away. We'll always be able to get to safety. And I've made it down to the Underdark, the Myconid village, where I can finish off all of the items that are needed for this build. Now, earlier I alluded to having the Circlet of Fire, but the maker of this build, Naprostaman, decided that actually the Haste Helm is more important because we want as much movement speed as possible. And with the Haste Helm, you start off with an extra 10 feet of movement speed, which means at the beginning of every combat, Tavpole here has a movement speed of 60 feet. And here we have the Spider Silk Armor, which gives advantage on Constitution saving throws, which goes nicely with the extra Hag's Hair. This is the +1 ability boost here on the Constitution bit. So we've got a Constitution of 16. We've used Volo's Eye, which makes Charisma 16, which is why the Intelligence is down to 7. Now we've been branded, and we've got the Gloves of Power to inflict Bane on everyone. The Boots of Speed, which is why I'm down here in the Myconid colony. So as a bonus action, we can dash, and dashing and moving around will be absolutely essential for this build. The Moondrop Pendant. This is in case we get down to a low number of hit points, we will not provoke any opportunity attacks. Crusher's Ring, which gives us an extra 10 feet of movement speed. And the Spurred Band, we don't see this very often, but when the wearer starts their turn with 50% hit points or less, you gain momentum. So it's kind of, if we get down to 50% hit points, we can be much more defensive, much more mobile, we can move around, we're not going to take opportunity attacks, we're going to move that little bit faster. Bear in mind, we only go faster if momentum has already run out from the Haste Helm, but between these two items, having the extra movement speed is essential. We have got the Steel Forged Sword and the Short Sword +1, they're not so important really, because we're going to be attacking with Eldritch Blast anyway, and Hand Crossbows. This is just in case we have a bonus action free, we're going to shoot off an attack with a Hand Crossbow, which gives us the chance to get an extra critical hit. The only kind of downside I can see before showing you any gameplay is that we've got Hold Person, Fly, and Vampiric Touch, all of which require concentration. So we're going to have to pick which one of these we're going to be using. Hold Person is if we want to guarantee some critical hits. Now, with a Warlock, our spell slots are level 3, so if we do use Hold Person, it will affect 2 people. Up to 2 people anyway. If we're going to be using Fly, that means we're going to be running around the battlefield and just shooting off Eldritch Blasts and then getting to safety. If we're using Vampiric Touch, we're just going to be running around trying to attack people, and we're going to be healing at the same time, also trying to get some critical hits. And always, if we've got our bonus action free, we will be using a Hand Crossbow. Our armor class isn't the highest. We will be taking hits, but that's why we've got a high-ish Constitution and advantage on Constitution saving throws, so we don't lose concentration. And we've got unlimited false life and unlimited extra 7 temporary hit points. At this level, that's fine. If and when we get to higher and higher levels, that becomes a bit less important, but it's always going to be important. And we can use our imp to kind of create diversions as well, because after a battle we can resummon the imp. And if we're being clever people, we are Going to use aid. Why not? Let's use it at level 3. Let's get our conjured imp up to 20 hit points. And Tavpole 53 plus 7 or 60 hit points in total. So I'm going to show him kind of fighting battles by himself. Obviously you could use this in a group, but kind of really works very well when he's alone, because there is a really big advantage when being solo is that there's only one of your allies, well, there's only one of your characters that can be hit. And with this fly, we can just fly away. And the enemies will never catch us up. And since I'm down in the Underdark, I'm going to do kind of what I think is quite traditional now for myself, is go and kill the Duergar down by the beach. So I talked my way out of the encounter. Well, I say the encounter, I'm going to start it. First thing I'm going to do is cast Flight. Got to bear in mind, this only lasts 10 turns, so I don't have forever to kill all of these people. And then, offhand attack, just going to start with one of them. Critical hit. So that's what I was kind of looking for, but in a better position than that. Is this guy feared? He's not. I'm not sure why he's not. Anyway, so we can fly. I just want to point out we should be looking for odd places to fly. If we can. Places where they can't reach us. We could fly away. But before I do that, I've got a couple of choices. I could try and use Eldritch Blast. Bearing in mind, I will be shoving him down, so it might be worth going to attack one of them at a time to get that done. Now, we're within range of Holvik there. I don't think anyone else will reach us, so if we just move away from Holvik, fly away. Bear in mind, I've only used half my movement speed there. And I can, just for the sake of it, just to show kind of, we're going to stay very safe. We're going to stay over here. I should have used an offhand attack first. That's my own fault. There we are. My imp's invisible. Imp visible. Now, if I leave him here, then Holvik will go after the imp. In fact, I'm just going to leave the imp for now. They're going to enlarge themselves, go invisible, dash around. Basically going to try and catch up to me. But with the high movement speed, that should be quite implausible, really. Ooh, right. Saved. And that isn't necessarily lucky because I've got advantage on that with a +3. So the good thing about fly is it doesn't use a bonus action to fly around. So I need to go get coal, really. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to... Well, I probably should have just used... Stay within the range of fly, but never mind. I'm up to here. Attempt this. Alright, it didn't work. I'm in a little bit of trouble, perhaps. So, I also want to show you, even though the range of fly is all the way over here, I've got to have the movement speed to get there. So as I move my cursor away from my character, in the bottom right, you can see that the amount of movement speed I've got left is going down and down. This is what the boots are for. Click heals. And now I can actually get, probably, yeah, get up to here. In fact, I've gone so far away, I'm actually going out of combat. Got to be very careful with that. I don't know if combat's going to end. I have gone too far. I haven't. Just about. Got to be very careful. See, Holvik's not going to... If I'm playing correctly, won't get another shot off. Yeah. Slightly clever there. Oh, it's a very long way away. So let's come down. Nice and safely. Oops, just got rid of Eldritch Blast. It's a silly accidental thing to do. 2 shots against who I can see. I've got a lot of movement speed. I'm going to try offhand attack. I want to just get inside range. This is a bit risky. I've inflicted Bane. Ooh, just about good up here. And it's good. I've got the high ground, which means they can't actually come and shoot me without any sort of penalty. Novice Garmor's coming, slowly but surely. And do it, once they all get close, I'm just going to fly straight back down. Alright, there's Holvik dashing again. I use Hunter's Mark, so what? It's not actually shooting me. I'm not sure what... Yeah, Gut Coal's going to do nothing. Take 2 shots. 18 damage is alright. Concentration broken. And look at that, I'm just going to fly over to here. I could hide, but I actually want them to come towards me, really. Can I get a shot off? Or it uses all my movement speed? I'm a little bit worried about that, because he'll be able to shoot back up, whereas if I'm all the way up here, there's no way they're going to be able to shoot me. I'm just going to try it for the just to risk it. There we are. And a dash. Yeah, it's just... Novice Garmor's got no chance. Alright, fly. How many turns left have I got with fly? 5. I'm halfway. Yeah, just try 2 shots. Critical hit, and that's what we're looking for also. He's frightened. Let's just show this. Can't move and has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls. So he's stuck there. So do you know what? Just take another shot. Stay at range. We don't want to get close. There's no good nice. No good reason to get close. Look, I can fly to here. So even if he shoots at us, he's got disadvantage. Oh, I just didn't even do anything, did he? Right. Take another 2 shots. Knock him back. And just because my imp looks like he's getting a bit bored over there, I'll use him, but it's quite a liability, really. Alright, perfect. Finishing him off. I've got to find Get Cole, or get Cole to find me now. And, I mean, this is a massive risk. I could either cast Shatter or Arms of Hadar. It's about the same area. Depends where I think he is. There's no way to know what's going to happen here. Ah, got him. Nice. Now he's really quite close, right? So I can now get out of here. And again, just flying up here is brilliant because he has to use his movement speed or dashing to get all the way around following this path. Because I could, if I wanted to, fly even further away. That. Again, I don't want to come out of combat, so I'm just going to wait up here. We have sickness, but it's fine. Concentration is kept. Now he's at somewhere that's quite dangerous. He's knocked down there. Camera's gone a bit wonky. Where is he even? Right, he's down there. So maybe I want to come down to this level. And shoot him with my offhand. Trying to get a critical hit. Trying to get Bane. I don't even need to fly at this point. But just because I can. It looks kind of cool. Is enlarged. I don't really care about that if I'm honest. Get Cole. Now my movement speed is 50 feet because I'm not in the first 2 turns of combat. I'm not below 50% hit points. And we're getting close to killing him now, so I think... And that's that. That was not difficult. I made like 1 mistake towards the beginning, and that was it. I'm just flying around, just taking him out. Whereas if I'd had my other teammates here, they would have been targeted. Him flying away would have been kind of detrimental to the party because that would just have left them open to attack. Alright, I'm actually going to go back up to the surface and show you a fight which Naprosta man sent to me. He sent me a video of the fight. And just to show you that in the right terrain we're going to be really, really good. This isn't exactly how the build maker started this combat, but I just want to show that. I'm going to start off... I want to start off with Vampiric Touch. And then, if and when kind of I lose concentration, hoping it doesn't happen immediately, I will probably switch to Fly. This time I actually forgot to put the imp into invisibility, but oh well. So 70% chance to hit is pretty good. Except when you do that. Now, I'm not flying, so I can't just, you know, fly away. I can get some high grounds. And since I've got my offhand attack, I'm going to try and hit over here, so if I get a critical hit, it affects more of them. Ooh, critical miss. I just want to point out there that the critical miss didn't actually inflict fear. I mean, a lot of attacks incoming. Ooh, right, concentration broken. So, oh, glad that went to the imp and not the warlock. So with a high number of attacks incoming, it's going to be difficult to maintain concentration against this number of enemies. So yeah, I'm doing particularly badly. This is because of the low armor class. There's a very high chance I'm actually... Ooh, right. That was lucky. So yeah, I'm pretty messed up here. So I need to make sure everything is about safety. I'm going to fly, and just because I can and should probably hit someone. One with the highest chance to hit, preferably. Let's try you. And now is where things get interesting, except I can't see the roof. Ooh, there we are. I can now. I could perhaps, and probably should perhaps, have dashed. So it's going to come over to here. There's no way. I say that. There's no way they're going to be able to see my Warlock. And if I'm particularly worried, I could use my action to cast False Life. There's extra 7 temporary hit points, and they're just going to hang around, not really doing very much. Okay, a bit of dashing here, a bit of dashing there, but there's nothing to be worried about. They're trying to get up. They might be able to jump onto the roof, I'm not sure. And so if we're out of sight, out of reach, they miss their turn. And like I said before, if there are other people in our party, they're actually a liability at this point. So what I need to do is try and get into range using the lowest amount of movement possible. Shooting down. And then I don't even have to fly, but just because it looks cool. And also, this is much safer. There's no way they're going to be able to see me when I'm up here. I could have taken an offhand attack. That's my fault. Could have maybe used a potion. But it's kind of a little bit of a challenge now to do this where one more hit will kill me. This is the one downside to this build, I think, is that we are a warlock. We've only got 2 spell slots. And in this situation, perhaps I shouldn't have used Vampiric Touch right in the middle of all of them, but there will be fights where you will probably use up your spell slots quite quickly, and then you're limited in what we can do. We should try and focus on one at a time. There they go. Always hoping for a critical hit. Now the problem with having disadvantage is that it's very unlikely I'll get a critical hit with an attack. And hand crossbows have a slightly lower. I've got a lot of movement speed left, so let's get closer. Yeah, sorry. Hand crossbows have a lower range than most other ranged weapons. Miss, and just making sure I can just about get to there. What are they going to do? I don't know. I'm not sure I'd actually be able to kill all of these in 8 rounds, all of these enemies, which would require me to try and run away somehow perhaps, or basically get the rest of my party to teleport up here and then I'd be fine. So I can get over here. Ooh, path is interrupted there by the tree, so get a slightly better angle, making sure everything's going to hit. There we are. Aim for her. They're all outside normal range, so just take an attack. Ooh, nice. Just get the other side. Roof here. Yeah, and they're just stuck. They can't do anything. You can kind of maybe do similar things with maybe a rogue, but the thing here with fly is it gives us just a massive amount of mobility, far more than any other way of getting around the battlefield. And yeah, we're going to finish this off. This is not really going to be a problem. I'm hoping I can show another critical hit. Obviously, I've no real control over that, although the more attacks with advantage I could get, the better. So in fact, I am going to try and get advantage here, rather than just get the extra attack. So 4 dice rolled, rather than 3 if I had just taken Eldritch Blast and offhand attack. Yeah, they might heal themselves a bit, but they should be able to do more damage than they can heal. And eventually they'll run out of spell slots. And if they're being pesky and hiding in the corner, what I can do, in fact I'll try and show that now, rather than just tell you in theory. Hoping they can't see me. Right, I might have to actually dash to get to the right position. Always making sure that your spells or attacks can actually reach them, because at the moment, the path of my Eldritch Blast is going into the roof here, so I've still got a load of movement speeds. Let's come up to here. Should be able to get a better vantage point. Oh, the tree is in the way again. So let's get the dash going, because then we have loads of movement speed left. So I'm hoping by coming flying down to here. Oh, this tree is massive. We can just about get Gauntlet Dane's foot there. And now the important part, really, making sure we get away. Just come to this side of the roof. There's no way they're going to get line of sight to me. Oh, wasn't as clever as I thought. Look at him there, getting onto the roof. Right. Problem is, not problem, but the thing is, I should probably try and kill Gauntlet Dane with an N first, because she's got the fewest hit points. Ooh, so close. I've got a lot of movement speed left, so I'll take an offhand attack and then fly to safety. This seems to be the safest place to go to. I don't see how they're going to be able to catch me up there. I've only got 4 turns left of fly, which is starting to get worrying. So they're doing their best to try and find me and catch up to me, but I should always be able to move to somewhere else where they can't see me. So she's out in the courtyard again. Now this time, since she's at a very low number of hit points, if I actually hit her with an offhand attack, it will actually kill her. Alright, is anyone left outside? There is Flaming Fist Aeolus. Eldritch Blast, 2 attacks, 20 damage, nearly dead, and back round to here. Anyway, I'm not going to show this whole fight because it's going to go on quite a long time. I suppose it's only the one downside of playing solo is you don't get through the enemies quite as quickly. So let me know what you think of the build, whether creative this build and Froster Man, does he think whether he's done a good job. I quite like it. I like that someone's included Fly into a build because I haven't really been a massive fan of Fly. I must say that if I play this person as part of a party, I might not like it as much because it will just leave the other party members to be targeted. So it makes it a bit easier to get around and stay safe. So do send me an email. It's probably the best way to send me a build if you want to. And if you want to become a member or join the Discord, please look in the description below. If you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Please do consider subscribing and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.